you from a class I taught the other day, and when everyone came out, they just really experienced the space and openness in their hips. So often, a lot of times we carry tension in our pelvis and through our pelvic floor, and we're really not even aware of it. So for this practice, you're just going to need a wall, and you're going to come in with the legs up the wall and really position yourself a space from the wall where the pelvis and the sacrum can really start to become weighted on the floor. And then we're just going to take a couple of breaths. We'll inhale through the nose and then make an audible sound with the exhale, just to really let the weight of the legs settle into the pelvis. So we'll breathe in. Fa, ha, la, la, la. Really just let that exhale happen. Breathe in through the nose. Ha, la, 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 la. And one more time. Ha, la, 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 la. Then you're just going to start with some gentle heel presses up the wall. Just finding a range where the knees are quiet and we're really focusing on moving through that ankle joint. And in a range where we don't feel the pelvis becoming unweighted. Really just letting the forefoot and the toes be easy, so we're not kind of pulling with the toes. Really think about making the movement, having it happen at the ankle. And then just come to stillness and feel the effects of that movement. And then we're going to move into just some really simple single leg movements. So what you're going to do is roll and slide the heel down the wall. And we want to focus on the movement at the hip. Okay, so we're going to slide the leg down and up the wall, focusing on moving that leg from the hip. So you can see if I went past here, I could keep bringing the foot down, but I'm not really moving at the hip, I'm really moving more at my knee at that point. So just come down as far as the focus of the movement can remain in the hip. Okay, and then do a couple on this side. And just notice how the sides are moving. Belly, breath are easy. There's nothing, the shoulders and the jaw, they're not helping move the leg. Face is soft. You're going to take the feet a little bit wider, hip to shoulder width, and you just want to be in a range that you can relax the muscles of the hips and the legs, and it doesn't feel like the legs are going to fall out to either side. So your distance might be less, it might be more than mine. And don't only go as far as the inner thighs are able to be easy. Don't go so far that the inner thighs are really working to keep the legs here. And then we're just going to do a couple more of those ankle movements. And then just let the legs rest. Okay, bring the legs a little closer together. And the last movement that we're going to do here is both the legs coming out and sliding down, staying in a range where you're working in the hips as you slide down and as you slide the legs back up. So pay attention to when you slide up, and if you've got to brace the belly or you hold your breath a little bit, don't go down quite so far. Stay in a range where you don't bring any tension to the back of the skull. You don't bring any tension to the rib cage or the breath. You don't use your shoulders to try to move the legs. We're just letting the hips do it. Okay, and then just notice the left and the right sides, and then nice and slowly over the next few breaths you're just going to let the heels slide down the wall, and we want the focus here on the pelvis being heavy and remaining heavy, and as the legs come down that the leg bone is moving into flexion in the hip socket. So the bum doesn't curl up at all. We're bringing the femurs into flexion. Great, and so that's it. Then what I invite you to do is come on up to standing and just notice how the legs feel, notice how the space around the sacrum feels. Just kind of notice if you do find that being on your back, that your tailbone gets tender, you might want to have a folded towel or blanket underneath when you practice that, but give it a go. Let me know what you notice, and as I said in class the other day, everybody wanted me to film the video so that they could practice it at home and remember. So thanks so much for joining me. Have a great, great day, and if you've got any questions about this movement or any other movements, you can email me at dawn@bitbybitbodyworks.com. Thanks so much. Namaste.